Hello there, and welcome to episode 3 of Cats Talk. It's our build up towards Tom Hooper's sure to be epic Cats musical, and this time joining me for cat excitement is Jordan McGrath. Jordan, on a scale of 1 to 10, how sexy do you find Taylor Swift as a cat?
To be honest, rather alarmingly, round about a good 7.
That's a 7 out of 10 for Jordan. We'll be back with some more Cats talk with Noel next time. And this is actually, and by the way, I'd go, I don't know, like 8.5.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
I I don't know. We'll see. We'll
What do you
see.
do with the tail? That's all I ask. What do you do with the tail?
Yeah, like they're trying to make those cats the younger female cats sexy. It's weird.
It's it's a fairy's dream, really, this film. There's going to be so many creepy men going to watch it just because there's good-looking women dressed and designed as cats.
Yeah, it looks like a nightmare. I'm really looking forward to having.
Yeah, me and Laurie are definitely going to see it when it comes out. We'll probably be there first night.
Can you imagine if you see it in 4DX? Like your chair's just going to be scratching you and shit.
To be honest, the 4DX for that would just be that lock the doors, shove 150 cats in there with you, and you're trying to deal with it.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
The amount of piss and shit that would be in that cinema would be horrendous.
that's yeah. That's oh god. The thing is, I seriously, I would go see it in 4DX, but I'm pretty sure that like Star Wars is going to be having the 4DX screenings like no one's business around that time. So I would though. I would see it in 4DX. Anyway, this is episode 3 of Ian's Guide to Bondage. Jordan McGrath is here. Hi, Jord.
Hello.
Jordan McGrath of the His Film Her Movie podcast. And Jordan actually asked to be on this particular episode. So this is Bond's third canon adventure, Goldfinger. It's directed by Guy Hamilton, starring Sean Connery, Gert Frobe, Honor Blackman, Harold Kanata, I believe his name is, or Sakata, I want to say. I should have looked that up. Harold.
I actually don't know.
Yeah. Bernard Lee, Desmond Llewellyn, and others. So, George, why Goldfinger?
Do you know what? It's not because I have an affinity to this film at all. It's just that it's been so long since I've seen it, um, that I just thought it's the stable of Bond movies. Really, it's always held up on this pedestal as most popularity. Well, seems that it's the best. It's what other Bond films want to be. And I'm one guy who I'm not really don't have an affinity for Bond. I enjoy some of the movies. I don't others. But I do quite enjoy the Daniel Craig run of them. Um, Quantum of Solace aside, and what I just really like to see is just how a character, well, not really a character, but a way of telling a story has evolved since, say, 1964, which is what's it? That's now 55 years old,
Mm.
55, and just how they tell these sort of spy stories and how it's changed into what it is today, because these were kind of like the action movies of yesteryear. And my one thing about Goldfinger, and we'll get into it, is there's very little action.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one because it kind of just takes these kind of odd sojourns every now and then. I think particularly of like the kind of the introductory sequence of Tilly Masterson, where
Yes.
it's got the Bond. She's kind of like wanting to pass him, and then Bond basically gets a boner because a woman wants to fucking pass him in a car. And even though I think that sequence is interesting because it's basically the first time in any of the films where you've got a woman who's just not into him.
Yes.
Which it's interesting that already they're quite knowing in that, like, oh, you think every woman's going to fall at his feet, but then this woman doesn't. But to be fair, he does also turn a lesbian in this film, so they do kind of, this kind of swings and roundabouts in it. But then also that kind of odd sequence where the gangster Solo, I think his name is driven off by Oddjob, and then you've just got this like 2-3 minute long sequence of Oddjob like basically killing him and then getting the car crushed, and then the car being then put into Oddjob's car, and then
Yeah.
Oddjob driving back, and it's like, what did that actually add other than like Guy Hamilton's got a boner for car wreckage?
That's what I think it must have been. It must have been. He must have seen it somewhere. He said, "Do you know, that looks really, really cool. And let's stick." It's literally stop the film dead for a few minutes and watch this for no apparent reason.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
it's full of stuff like that. But it's for me as well. It's like that the Tilly Masterson subplot. It kind of goes nowhere.
yeah.
And it's there for about maybe 10 minutes. That actually amps the action up and gets the plot going, but that plot generally dies.
Yeah, no,
What's the point? And I know it's like, I think it's the joint shortest Bond, isn't it? It's under 2 hours, but it could have been maybe around about the 95 and been a hell of a better film for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is the thing that does take it down for me. I mean, it from the early Bonds, from Russia with Love is my number one for kind of reasons I went to into in the last part. But this one, it does just have those sequences which do just feel extraneous. But then there's also some really fun sequences, like the golf sequence.
Yeah, that's so random.
But I love it. It's Bond trolling Goldfinger for 5 minutes. It's brilliant. Excuse me. And yeah, even the beginning, like with the cards and Jill Masterson and like the kind of like the talking to him through the radio thing. Again, it's Bond kind of pushing his buttons, and it's really interesting because for the first two films, Dr. No doesn't appear until about the last 20-25 minutes. Red Grant in From Russia with Love is he's kind of a figure through the film, but he's only really properly in it for about 25-minute chunk in the kind of like the end of the second act, beginning of the third act. And yet with Goldfinger, after the title sequence, Goldfinger is there and he's in the film a lot.
And that's what surprised me from watching it, because I mean, I remember the overall story, but you don't really remember the individual scenes. And it really surprised me just how much, not only is he in it, but how much Bond and Goldfinger are in scenes together, because it becomes much more sort of a challenge of wits rather than Bond trying to hunt this person down. And I kind of like that. It just led to a different idea of, it's not just action. It's Bond is, well, in this film seems to be quite bright, and he's not just the suave character.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I like there's moments of humanity in it as well, like just Bond actually looking worried, and looking upset, even like when he discovers Jill.
Yes.
He does look like, what the fuck, and when he's pinned down with the laser, and it's like, okay, stop it, Goldfinger, you made your point, and he does look genuinely nervous, and of course he gets out of it. But even though it's weird that then he's basically Goldfinger's prisoner, but then he's chill as fuck. Like he's there having a mint julep and fucking rolling around with Honor Blackman, and it's it's almost a parody of the Bond villain being welcoming, because it does just look like Bond's having a really fun time in Kentucky.
Yeah, and the thing is, Goldfinger is not even that threatening to feel like he is overbearing of Bond. Bond, I think, just stays there really because he could get away, but I think he's just so entrenched in getting to the end of it's Grand Slam,
Operation Grand Slam. Yeah.
on Operation Grand Slam, that he stays. But yeah, it's for me, it's a bizarre little movie, to be honest. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy it. The reason why I enjoy it because just watching it with hindsight, it is the blueprint for most Bonds to come.
Mhm.
And it has those iconic images. For example, you've got the first Aston Martin there, just the opening bars of Shirley Bassey's Goldfinger, like that sends chills down your spine, and the projection on the gold bodies for the opening credits, that is just top quality filmmaking, in my book. But yeah, it's a nice little travel log. Its plot, yes, sometimes gets lost, but you're always sort of going forward. It never really lets you get bored. But yeah, as I said at the beginning, I was so surprised that, like, action wise, when you see the Bonds of now, it it's much more of a spy movie than an action movie.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, even though it is going in that direction though, because I mean, Doctor No is a travelogue with just Bond being cool, and then
Yes.
in the last 20 minutes, it kind of turns more Bond movie. From Russia with Love, again, is a travelogue, but it's also this weird, like that it's this kind of like small scale claustrophobic paranoid thriller for a stretch of it as well, which is amazing.
Mm.
But and then you've got Goldfinger, which kind of introduces a bit more of the uh, of the playful, the kind of the playful fun. I mean, from Russia with Love, there's the gypsy fight, which is just fucking mad, and again does stop the story in its tracks, but it's kind of got the travelogue thing going there. With Goldfinger, there's a lot of different places, but it does, I don't know, to me it feels more like you say, it's the blueprint, it's the villain, it's the villain's henchman. I mean, and Pussy Galore is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um, it's I cannot stress enough how fucking ridiculous that entire bit is, where he basically fucks her into turning into a good guy.
Pretty much, and he sort of wrestles her, but in a very weird, rapey way,
Mhm.
in some horsehair, and it's like, well, she's obviously fighting you off, but you keep going. It looks like he's got lips of, I don't know. Does he have some like sort of serum on his lips? 'Cause as soon as he kisses her, she completely turns. I'm like, what's going on? It's so bizarre in that sense of. I mean, to be honest, it is not 70% of this film and enjoyment comes from Sean Connery, and you can understand with his charm, but you can understand also how this film gets parodied so much
Mhm.
because it is outrageous with some of the stuff that it gets away with.
Even though I will say, I do the actual what Goldfinger is trying to do. I like that Connery is like, that's genius. It's
Yes.
a really, I mean, he's fucking mental, but it's a really good plan.
Yeah.
And I like that the whole kind of like respect for the bad guy thing. You don't really get that in Doctor No or From Russia with Love. Like, he's quite insulting towards Doctor No, and From Russia with Love, it is just Spectre, the organization of bad guys, whereas this, like you say, it's a battle of wits. But I like the fact that Bond does have some sort of respect for Goldfinger, and it's like, I'm already Thunderball, already kind of the prospect of rewatching that kind of worries me, because they really do, they try it again with Thunderball, and it doesn't work. I like literally the only thing I really remember about Thunderball is the underwater sequence and the fact that it's the first one shot in scope. So
Right.
I'm kind of I'm fascinated to rewatch Thunderball, but I'm also kind of dreading it. Whereas with Goldfinger, I wasn't dreading it, and you only live twice. I'm really looking forward to watching that again. But this one, it's just this short for a Bond film, sharp, has its kind of moments of kind of like piddling off into nowhere, but also has enough of the classic Bond stuff to keep you going on.
It does, yeah. And don't get me wrong, it's actually quite funny in times, sometimes intentionally, sometimes unintentionally. But quick question. I mean, Odd Job, he's always he's this iconic character, but I just find him slightly. He isn't very antagonistic, and in that final scene, in the final fight in Fort Knox, it is one of the worst staged fights I think I've seen in a long time. And when he takes his hat off and throws it, he throws it about 70 meters above Bond's head. I'm like, you've been so pinpoint precision with this hat, so throughout the entire film, how can you be so off the mark?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's Odd Job's an interesting one, because he's basically got one party trick, and then in that final fight, he does it. He does the party trick really badly.
Twice.
Yeah, yeah, no, quite. And I mean, like he kills Tilly Masterson, even though it kind of looks like he just bonks her on the head. Like, I don't, because I mean, what is it? Like the hat's supposed to be kind of like razor sharp or something. Is that what it is?
But yeah, it's I think steel rimmed. So yeah, I think sharp as well. But again, with that Tilly scene, it's like, does she die or does she just get knocked out? Because do we really even find out?
You have to assume she dies, but
And that's what I think. But when Bond sort of lifts her over, he looks at our job as, okay, she's fine, but what are we going to do here? But yeah, she must die. But then again, you've just there's no point in that character apart from having someone who doesn't give a shit about James Bond.
I think it's literally that. I wouldn't be surprised if critics at the time were like, "Oh, it's ridiculous that all the women just fall for him completely." And
But it's
I mean, like,
interesting that that comes just after 2 movies as well, though. It's like you would think that would be like, oh, we're 6 movies in. Now it is quite self-aware then, if that is the case, to actually do that so early on in the franchise.
yeah, no, I mean, which is interesting, and for a franchise that is pilloried for its attitude towards women,
Yeah.
much of it deserved. It's interesting that you've got an aspect like this, like you say, just 3 films into this series. Even though, I mean, like, No Time to Die is going to be fascinating.
Mm.
To see what they do with Anna de Armas, Lea Seydoux, and Vanessa Lynch. Just you've got 3 very strong female presences there, but it's also Craig's last one, and it's like, what's actually gonna get what's really gonna get the limelight there? It's gonna be fascinating to see film Twitter react to No Time to Die,
Yeah.
because everyone's standing the women, but also while at the same time saying that Bond is a dinosaur of a series, and it'll be interesting to see how that square gets circled, I think.
Yeah, and I'm a person of here who, I mean, I liked Spectre. It didn't blow my socks off, but I do stand by that. Skyfall's not only like the best Bond movie, but it's for me it's one of the best blockbusters of say the last decade.
Mm.
I really do love that movie. It is. It has everything that I really wanted. It's got the visuals. It's got a great plot. It's got great action. I think it's Daniel Craig's best performance as Bond as well, and it has a decent villain. Because I was so happy with Christoph Waltz's casting, but I just felt he got a bit wet.
Spectre is a bit of a whiff of the film. It's a swing and a miss. And to be fair, I think it was they got it so right with Skyfall that they just thought they could do it again. And the whole kind of like hiding who Waltz actually was beforehand, like they did with Cumberbatch in Star Trek Into Darkness, which is such a fucking just bullshit kind of thing. And it's interesting though because they went back to the well with with Blofeld, and there are continuing rumors that Rami Malek is playing Doctor No,
Right.
and it's just really.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Joseph Wiseman, I mean, like he doesn't get an awful lot to do in Doctor No, but he is malevolent. He's not right. And to be fair, Rami Malek can play he's not right in his sleep. That guy just puts me on edge.
Yeah.
Like it's something about his presence, and I don't know whether maybe he's just a good actor, but something about Rami Malek that I just find a bit off center, and it'll be interesting to see what he does with the villain role there. But yeah, I mean, Spectre, I don't know. I mean, again, there's a sequence where he fucks a widow,
Yeah.
which,
But
yeah,
but saying that when we're talking about like the Tilly character and having her and being self-aware, there is a scene where James Bond actually slaps a girl on the ass, tells her to go off because it's man talk.
Man talk.
And it's just like, cool. And then puts on the most feminine sort of one-piece swimsuit I've ever seen.
A Dink, that's her name, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like Dink, say hi to Felix. Yeah, but I mean, I will say as well, Jill Masterson is quite a fetching presence. I think she does. I think she does well in that role as well. Just like the way that she's just into Bond fucking with Goldfinger. It's all, I don't know. There's a sense of the just kind of like casual. This guy's hot. I'ma fuck him.
Yeah.
Kind of thing there. Which with From Russia with Love, like she just seems to fall for Bond, like fall head over heels in love with Bond. And I like that with Goldfinger, basically the women in it just seem to enjoy like fucking him, even if one of them's a lesbian.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I can't stress that enough. Like Bond fucks the lesbianism out of a woman in Goldfinger.
Well, if Ben Affleck can do it, so can Sean Connery.
It's a fair point, well made that. But yeah, I mean,
Well, if Ben Affleck can do it twice, Sean Connery can do it.
what, Chasing Amy and what?
Geely.
Oh right, yeah. It's weird that we lived in a time where Ben Affleck was kind of seen as being the ultimate man.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
He's just inflated.
Yeah. We got much more to say on Goldfinger?
I don't really think so. I mean, it is the image, but it's just how good the image of Shirley Eaton is, Jill Masterson, covered in gold, because it's just so striking as he walks into the room and sees her, that the person who thought up that, and well, Ian Fleming mostly, but yeah, it's just a brilliant image, and you can see how all the marketing goes to it because you are intrigued by what the hell is happening there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, it's this side, it's a great show of Bond kind of trolls Goldfinger, and then Goldfinger immediately has his assistant fucking murdered, and in a really horrifying way.
No, absolutely, but yeah, I think it still is a decent film. It has some problems. I can't see I can't see why people hold it up on this pedestal, because I do think there's been way better Bonds since. But it's a it is that blueprint. You have everything that you would really want from a Bond, and it does what it does well, and it still has the ultimate charm of Sean Connery in its lead.
Yeah, and I mean, I will say as well, I think it obviously has a bigger budget than the first two as well. The first
Oh
two
yeah.
feel very stage bound with some location shooting, whereas this, it's wide, it's expansive. There's just a lot of locations, you know.
Do you know what? A lot of the budget must have went on crash mats as well, because in that final third, there's a hell of a lot of people jumping over barriers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. But no, I mean it's fun, and like you say, it is the blueprint. I think that's why it is so remembered. And again, I mean, like I think that's why kind of like Thunderball gets so forgotten because it's just the one after Goldfinger. You know,
Yeah.
You Only Live Twice says it's written by Roald Dahl and whatnot. It's got the volcano set. On Her Majesty's Secret Service, it's George Lazenby. It kind of feels like the ones after have something to hang their hat on. But I'll talk about Thunderball more next week. But so thank you, George. And where can people listen to more of you?
Well, they can listen to me on the His Film Her Movie podcast. You can go on to all your listening platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, anywhere. You can give us a follow on His Film Her Movie podcast on Instagram, and you can get us really wherever you want. We're on social medias, but yeah, you just go subscribe to the podcast and you'll get a new podcast every week. We've been a bit busy, so we haven't posted in 2 weeks, but that's because of, well, I got married and I went on
Getting fucking
honeymoon,
married.
so
Yeah.
yeah. Do you know what? We did plan to try and get stuff recorded, but yeah, getting married is quite time consuming.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
It is. But never mind, we're back next week.
Nice. So yep, thank you very much, George. I really appreciate you taking the time there, bud. It was brilliant. And back with Thunderball next time.